What's up, Design family, and welcome to another episode of Fit Design TV. On today's episode, we'll be doing something a little bit lighter, a little bit more easygoing. I want to show you guys what I carry on a day-to-day basis as a sportswear designer, as a small business owner, and hopefully share that a little bit with you guys. So hopefully that's something you're interested in, to see what tools I use day in, day out. And if you are, stick around. This is going to be a good video. Welcome to Fit Design TV. On this channel, we'll explore what it takes to make it as an activewear fashion brand, whilst providing tips, tricks, and actionable steps towards starting your own product line. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to start your own brand, or just someone interested in fitness fashion, there's something for you here. So, this is my stand-in bag for today. It's not my actual bag. My bag is out of commission for the time being, but imagine this is my bag. So, typically what I carry on a day-to-day basis are a lot of the standard things that you would see anyone carry. I have two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. Typically why I have two phones is, one is like a personal, one is like a, I don't want to say like a business phone, but I have a lot of like clients on here, I speak to them, so I kind of try to keep something a bit more separated. I love, it's the iPhone XS, the XS and the iPhone 7 Plus. They're great screens, they're color accurate, so if I'm reviewing any tech packs, or if I'm going through Pantone Studio, which is a digital catalog of colors, I'm able to have a pretty accurate representation of those colors on the go. I also use Trello, which is an online management app, to keep track of my tasks, my team's tasks, and just stay on top of things. So, two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. Next, I have my MacBook. This is, for me, is really important. A 2018 fully spec MacBook Pro. It has a 1TB SSD, Vega 20 graphics card, 32 gigs of RAM, 6-core i9. So it's a beast. It's quite something. But fortunately, it gets really hot. It's one of those MacBooks that has the issues of getting really hot, and the fans are always on. So it's not the quietest machine, but it gets the job done, and it's really good at it. And until Mac come out with something better, I'll stick with this one. It's a great tool for any designer. The screen is super color accurate. It has a great graphics card, so if you're pushing 3D programs, you're really going to be able to push this thing to its limits. We do a lot of rendering in-house, so this thing really comes in handy. The next thing is kind of like my extension to the MacBook. It's a 11-inch iPad Pro with a keyboard folio. Yes, I think that's what they call it, and a Apple Pen. Super important. Like, this is my everything. I use it on like literally a day-to-day basis. Obviously, there's the consumption. Like, it's fun to watch Netflix, YouTube, whatever that is. But for work, it really helps. It's super portable. The keyboard folio gives you kind of like the full functionality of having a keyboard, but at the same time without adding too much bulk onto the product. The Apple Pencil is super important. It allows me to kind of write down notes, sketch on Procreate. I don't do too much sketching, not gonna lie, but my team does, and we also have iPad Pros that we use in the office. For me personally, it's just to get onto Trello, which is the management app, check emails. I do a lot of corrections to our tech packs. If I'm checking like my team's work, do a lot of corrections, and that's where the pen comes in handy, kind of like correcting everything, going through everything. So it's a really cool way of connecting. And since the entire office is Apple based, it just makes sharing files through the online network super easy, airdropping, all that stuff. It's a real lifesaver, and I really enjoy it. And the thing is a beauty, and it's a beast as well. Next is, what do we have? So any MacBook owner post 2016 knows that this is a necessity. Unfortunately, we're like dongle city. If we need to connect any hard drives or SSDs or SD cards, pictures, this is the one I use. It's the Lention. I don't know how to say that, but it's the Lention. It's really good. It was really cheap as well. We have like a ton of them, and it gets the job done. So that's super important. It has an HDMI out. If we're doing client presentations, or want to hook something up to the TV that's in our boardroom, we're able to do that, and that's really comes in handy. And also, I do connect it to an external monitor, but I use a USB-C powered external monitor, so that doesn't come in handy anymore. It used to when I was using an HDMI output. And essential for me is I love my microfiber cloth. I just like everything. Since I'm working with screens all day, I really like everything to be super clean and very, very smudge free, and that's just something that is important. Anyone who knows me knows I carry one of these around. I have one in my car, I have one in my bag. A bit OCD about that, so that's what that is. AirPods, I love them. I've had them since 2016. I don't go anywhere without them. I have 2 pairs. I have one right now because I think I lost the other, but I did have 2 pairs very recently, and the reason I like them so much is I walk around a lot. So I'm the kind of dude who really likes to go around the office, check what everyone's doing, and I like to have the option to take a call or to have my music playing in the background, and just being wire-free just really allows me to do that. And I'm a very movement-oriented person, and I move a lot, and if I had wires, it would just not be good for anyone. So the AirPods, super important. Just give me the flexibility that I need and the mobility that I want. Believe it or not, like, you'd be like, why do you carry this around with you in your bag? I do. I don't anymore. I used to a lot more when I was doing a lot of the work myself. Even if I was like going around between the office or home, office, coffee shop, whatever it would be. Having a measuring tape with inches and centimeters is a godsend, and having it in a kind of like tailor tape where it's flexible just means that it's a lot more portable. I can put it anywhere I go. It can measure out quite a lot. Dealing with garments where you sometimes have curved edges, having something like this is going to be a lifesaver. And I always put my frame of reference in, like, I know that if a logo is this large, like, I'll want to be able to see it in real life and typically measure it onto a garment. So having something like this on my person all the time is super important. And for any kind of fashion designer, sportswear designer, even a graphic designer, I do highly recommend a measuring tape. One of the other things that I love carrying is my trackpad. Believe it or not, I also carry this back at home, back and forth from my house to kind of my office. I used to do it a lot more, but I love having a trackpad. But you might be saying, oh, don't you already have a trackpad on the MacBook? I like to situate or orient myself so that I have my MacBook right in the middle. I have my right hand on a gaming mouse, which is the next item, and I have my left hand on a trackpad. So that clears up the central space to be used for the keyboard. So I'm not trying to use the keyboard and the trackpad at the same time. It just creates unnecessary stress on your hand, and really having that mobility to be able to switch back and forth between screens just by swiping left, swiping right, being able to zoom in, zoom out, and at the same time make a lot more of the technical movements with the mouse hand is a lifesaver, and it's something that I've incorporated into my workflow since 2013, 2012, since I was in college, and it's something I can't live without. And anyone who's met me or who works with me knows that I kind of force that onto them because I've seen so much benefit from it in terms of a workflow, especially working with 3D softwares and even working with like Adobe, Photoshop, and a lot of that stuff. So the Magic Trackpad 2, beautiful. And then I also have a basic wallet. I don't do like a card holder. I know that a lot of people enjoy card holders, a lot more minimalistic. I like to be able to store my cards, my cash, anything else I may have. So this for me has been with me for a long time, and it's pretty durable. I'd highly recommend when buying leather goods, spend a little bit more upfront. You're going to use it every day, and you're gonna put it through a lot of wear and tear. I've had my wallet for 5 years. I spent a little bit upfront, but it's definitely still standing strong. I get to get it serviced, or I get to get it cleaned whenever I want at the store, and that's just kind of like that's the kind of service that you get. So with leather goods or anything that you're going to use on a day-to-day, spend money. It will amortize over time, and you end up getting, I don't want to say your money back, but you won't be spending as much per use as you think. Yeah, we have the gaming mouse. This is the Zealots. I don't know, I bought it off Amazon. I'm not gonna lie, it's not something special. It's pretty cheap as well, but it's been with me for 3 years. Use it every day. It's wired, so it has a great response time. The reason I love using gaming mouses for design related software is 2 things. One is it's pretty ergonomic actually. It's made so it's pretty meaty, so you're able to get your hand around it. It's very comfortable to hold for long periods of time. It has programmable buttons, so if you want to be able to program certain buttons or certain functions, and I love the DPI switch. You can either increase the sensitivity or decrease the sensitivity according to your workflow or your preferences. And I can no longer use a mouse that doesn't have a DPI switch, so this is my go-to. If I travel, I do carry it as well if I need a mouse with me. Also have a external SSD from Samsung. It's a 512 or 500 gigabyte SSD. I don't like to mess around with spinning disk hard drives just because they're a bit slow. They're a bit slow to load, and a lot of the times we work with footage, we work with photos, we work with large 3D files, and being able to transport these around is so important. Being able to put it in my bag without having to worry about, having some physical damage to the spinning motor or any other kind of damage that is more related towards a traditional spinning hard drive. I highly recommend this. It's a great price to value ratio. I believe this one costs, it's like under $100, just under $100. Got off Amazon. Really, really good. We have a ton of them in the office. Well, only 2 of them in the office. I want to get more, and I really like it. It also comes with a USB-C to USB-A and a USB-C to USB-C, so it's very useful if you're working with MacBooks, and at the same time, it's very useful if you're working with iMacs that only have USB-A, like we do at the office, and one of these hard drives comes with both of them, so you have the option to choose what your preference is. The last thing is, it's not necessarily something that I carry all the time. I did want to share it because I think it's beautiful, and we do use it a lot at the office, and I kind of use it day to day. We're not shooting this current video with it, but it's the A7 III, and one of the lenses that we use a lot is the Sony FE4, what was it, 16 to 35. Super sharp lens, but it's, I guess in collaboration, it's a Zeiss lens as well, so it's really, really sharp. It has great phenomenal response time with the A7 III body just because it's Sony to Sony, so it focuses like crazy, focuses really fast, has great color representation, it's really sharp, and it's just a great lens all around. The build quality is amazing. I'm not a camera lens expert by any means, nor do I try to be, but I know a good lens when I see it. And then probably one of the other lenses that I really enjoy using, probably a little bit too much, is the Canon 100mm. I think it's the most recent generation. This is the Canon, which with image stabilization, it is a f2.8. It's a USM, so it has great image stabilization. It's super clear, and the depth of field is crazy. And we shoot a lot of fashion stuff, so it works both in like portraits, and it also works in shooting detail shots. And a lot of the detail shots that you may have seen on our channel are shot with this bad boy, and I really like it, and I highly recommend it towards any product photographer, food photographer, or apparel photographer, especially if you're trying to get those really crispy details and you're really trying to get in and close to your subject. So this one is really good. That's pretty much it. That's my bag for the most part. What I carry on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't carry anything else. I try to keep it light. It's not light, but I do try to keep it light per se. So I carry a combination of those things most times. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, a little bit of a lighter side of fit design and my side specifically. If there are any other kind of videos that you want to see within this frame of reference, please do feel free to drop them in the comments below. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing this with you guys. Until next time, stay awesome.